James Harden expected to meet with reporters today, the day after his trade to Brooklyn becomes official, where he will team up with Kevin Durant and maybe Kyrie Irving. Nets general manager Sean Marks yesterday was asked about how Irving's absence impacted the decision to make the trade. Here's what he said.
They're completely separate from one another. Kyrie's absence and, the personal issues that he's dealing with, it has nothing to do with us, going after and attaining James Harden in this. Regarding Kyrie, when he'll be hopefully back and rejoining the team, part of that is going to be up to the NBA, and we're waiting for them to come out with, so they're ruling on the health and safety protocols. I have talked to Kyrie, so I know he's excited about getting back on the court with his teammates, as soon as possible.
Boy, is there a lot to unpack in the things that he just said, and the perfect man to do it, the one and only Jalen Rose, is here to give the people what they want. All right, let's go through those in order. The first thing he said was that the Kyrie Irving absence had no impact on their decision to trade for James Harden. Do you buy that?
I buy it, Greeny, because this was something that's been brewing, in particular this offseason when those three were in Los Angeles playing pickup games together. And here's the deal. They did a terrific job of formulating a big three in Brooklyn with the Nets. And when you're trying to make that omelet, it's going to be some broken eggs. And unfortunately for the Rockets and their fans, it was them. Because Kyrie and KD were already with the squad. So James was the one that had to go to his team and say that he wanted out. A guy that's been an MVP, won multiple scoring titles. They'll likely retire his number one day. So he had to make it unceremonious for his situation so that he can now make it happen. But now that it's happened, this is gonna be outstanding for the NBA because we have a built-in villain, as the people like to call it. KD left the Splash Brothers, and they're beloved. Kyrie left LeBron, and he's the king. And I just said what happened with James Harden. Now you have LeBron, the king on the West, sitting on the throne, and now you have the Nets and KD, a two-time Finals MVP on the East Coast. We needed this for Eastern Standard Time.
I'm with you on that part of it, but obviously one of the big three is not there. Another thing Sean Marks just said is, I've talked to Kyrie and he's excited to be back on the floor with his teammates. Well, what exactly should we make of that, considering at least in one big way, he's the reason he's not on the floor with his teammates?
So, of course, we always got to take, mental health and or any anxiety or depression into account when we're talking about any human beings. But beyond that, he has a personal and a professional responsibility to his team and to his teammates to show up for work, Greeny. And when he doesn't show up for work, don't donate $400,000 back to the team. If you really want to make some moves in the community with that money, take that game check and actually do that. And he's been a terrific ambassador in so many facets of giving back to his community, Greeny, and it's not talked about enough. But I understand not to confuse Kyrie walking around the floor burning sage on the right wing, because I still have images of him at Golden State hitting a big shot over Steph Curry, winning a championship on the right wing. I know that Kevin Durant is coming back from an Achilles injury, but when he won his 2 championships, that was against LeBron James. James Harden, along with the Greek freak and Dame Lillard, are probably the 3 best players that haven't won championships in today's game. So now if you KD, you come to the West. You saw LeBron win a championship in the East. I mean, if you KD, you go to the East because you saw LeBron do it. You saw Kawhi do it. And now KD's in the East. And when the Splash Brothers get back and LeBron has AD, this is going to be fantastic theater for the NBA.
Yes,
Kyrie will find a way to return to the team. Trust me, when his protocol ends, Greeny, he want to be a part of this show because that's what it's going to be.
Let's make it clear, because now he may have violated the NBA's COVID protocol, and we'll see what the league decides to do. When you just touched on it, he gets paid a little over $408,000 per game. So the 5 games that he's missed, in theory, would be $2 million worth of salary. Now, we don't believe he's being docked that in any meaningful way. But how about that part of it? How about the league's place in this and the COVID piece of this?
That's enough viscous for the projects, boy. $2 million, I tell you, man. But here's the thing, Greeny. During the season, there are going to be ebbs and flows with players. But ultimately, this is what's going to happen. He's going to pay his fine. He's going to clear COVID protocols. James Harden is going to have a press conference today. He's going to play basketball with the Nets possibly Saturday if everybody clear their physicals. At some point next week, probably, Kyrie Irving is going to return to this team. And they're going to have a spectacular big three, unlike the one, probably the last time we seen this was when LeBron joined up with Wade and Chris Bosh. Two of these guys have already won championships. Harden has already won an MVP. This is going to be great theater. And I'm going to just tell you this. I'm still not picking them to win it all this year. I'm picking the Milwaukee Bucks to still come out of the East. So while I'm giving them all of this praise, this ain't going to be the year for them to win the East. The back-to-back reigning MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, just got Drew Holiday along with Middleton. People still sleeping on Chris Middleton. Did y'all see him ball in the playoffs last year when the Greek Freak wasn't available? That continuity is going to mean something in an abbreviated season. The Bucks will eliminate the Nets if they play them in the playoffs.
You and I had a suit bet on something that happened last year. You won it from me. This is another bet I want to make. We'll talk about that offline. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.